their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
If you're working in your yard, remember never to place landscaping structures and fences too close to above-ground electrical equipment. It's unsafe and could cost you financially. Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome in to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Hey, welcome to the Get Your Happy On Hour. Hey, I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons. This is 9317 The Ticket. Got to give a big shout out to Matt Warner out Waverly, Nebraska, Empire Fencing. Man, you guys keep doing big things. Very proud of y'all, and I just never want y'all to ever think I take y'all for granted, because I don't. You know, before we get started tonight, I got Bach back in the house, man.
That's right.
Bach, where you been, man?
I've actually been up in the Philippines. My wife's from over there, so I had a little vacation stint over there. It was fun.
Man, Bach left me for 2 weeks, you know, but he left me in good hands, so they took care of me. But I'm glad to have you back, and I'm glad you're back safely, man.
Thank you.
You know, I'm always looking for guests. Y'all know that, right? I'll be looking for guests that things ain't always great, but they turn out to be okay. And tonight I have another guest that I'm very, very close to, and we do a lot of business together, actually. And we'll get to that part later, but I want y'all to listen and pay attention for all the people out there that think that life has to be perfect all the time, because that ain't the case. And you're listening to a guy who has plenty of experience in making mistakes. I like to make a joke about it, even though it's not funny. But to me, I like humor. So I'll say it like this. I have a PhD in making mistakes. I'm real good at that. I figured it out. It took me a while, but I finally got it together. And I'm really happy to be back on this side of things. And, man, I want y'all to pay attention tonight. You're going to learn something. My guest, Kadara, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Rick, appreciate you having me again.
Yeah. Well, I had him before, but I needed to have him back because I think I done gained some new listeners, and I want them to know what I know. So, Kadara, I'm going to pretty much let you tell us who are you, man? I mean, where you from?
So I was raised here in Lincoln, but my family's from Mississippi.
Okay.
We moved here when I was 6 months old.
Okay.
And, yeah, I just we moved around a lot. In this city. My mom, she couldn't really stay settled.
I got you.
And so it's a cool thing though. Like, I hated it growing up. We used to move like almost every year, but we lived all around the city, so I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that it ended up being a cool thing.
So now you grew up. Now what elementary you go to here?
I went to Huntington.
Huntington.
Well, so let me go back even further. So when I started, I was at Elliott, and then me and my cousin, we were in the same class. And this was back when you had you had the early session and the late session, and we was so bad together. my cousin Mike Brown. We was so bad together. They had to split us up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was bad. So then we moved and I went to Clinton. And
Okay.
it was a similar thing. We was both over there. They had to split us up. We was just trouble. And then we finally moved over on the northeast side of town. I went to Huntington, and so that was probably the most stable that we were probably over there for like 5 years.
Okay.
So I finished out elementary school there.
Okay, and then you was off to what? Middle school?
Yep. Went to so we lived on the northeast side of town, and then my mom had took custody of one of my cousins.
Okay.
And being on the housing and stuff, they wouldn't let him be in there.
Right.
And so we had moved out to Air Park.
Oh, okay.
And then so in Air Park, they used to bus us over to Dawes Middle School. And so that's where I went.
Okay. And then you finally made it up to the high school level.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where you ran into my son.
It is. Well, it was a little bit later, and actually, I ran into him in middle school.
Oh, okay.
So playing middle school ball, we had a little battle with Goodrich, and that was when I was first introduced to elite level athleticism. T-Boy, he was a different beast. So we had moved back over to the northeast side of town, and so I went to northeast my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
And so he was at Lincoln High, and then the following year is when North Star opened up, and so that's when the big migration happened. There was people from all over the city, migrating. The year before, a lot of people went over to Southwest when they opened up,
right
on the South Side and Central, and then when North Star opened, it was Central and like the northeast side that we migrated over to North Star.
So it's kind of funny, a little off topic, but I just want to say this. My son is a very competitive guy. He's always been that way. And I tell this story a lot because it's so funny to me. Because when he was in the 5th grade, we used to race. And I would let him win. But he didn't think I was letting him win. He really actually thought he could beat me in the 5th grade. Well, he get to high school, I didn't have to let him no more. Because he could actually beat me. But we were at the stadium. They was playing their senior year of football, and it was real funny because no one knew he was my son because of our last names. And they said,
"Shit, you can look at y'all."
I know, but his last name was Bullock.
Yeah,
and my name is Simmons, so they never made the connection.
Yeah,
they just knew that this former Husker was always watching this little kid play.
Yeah,
they didn't know he was my son. So senior night, they said, Tyler Bullock being escorted by his dad, former Husker Ricky Simmons. And these reporters were like, hey, Tyler, your dad played on some pretty good teams at Nebraska. If you get a chance to go to Nebraska to play football, you think you could do better? And he looked at me and looked at the reporter. He told me, he said, man, I don't even like football. I just play it because I've been beating my dad at everything since I was in the 5th grade. And I was just showing him if he could play, anybody could play. I'm a basketball player. And he went out and had a lot of success in basketball. So I know what you mean by he's a different.
Yeah. I always say he's one of the best athletes to come through Lincoln.
Well, he hates to lose, and I saw that at an early age and I didn't really discourage it, but, I understood it. I mean, the dude just want to win all the time in everything. It wasn't just sports.
Yeah.
It could be at Champions. He wanted to have the most tickets.
Man. Hey, but that's such a great attribute to have if you channel it in the right way.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially in life, sports and competition, that's what life is.
It really is.
And those who, understand that and again, if you channel it in the right way,
and
right? There's a negative way to channel that, but if you channel it in a positive way, you're going to hold yourself accountable. You're not going to need others to hold you accountable.
Correct.
You're going to have that internal drive that you have to be successful in life. And that was, for me, that was what basketball taught me.
Well, I will say this, man, there are a lot of great things you can get from sports. And I will say that the accountability piece, you got to be accountable. And if you're like my son, you're just a sore loser. So you was automatically determined. But one thing I wanted to get to was after you, because we were talking a little bit before the show, and you had mentioned that you were undersized.
Yeah,
but
undersized. Understatement.
but you had the mindset of a D1 athlete.
Man, it's delusion, right? That's the best way I could put it. But also at the same time is I say it's ignorance because you just don't know.
Right.
So for me, not growing up, with my dad, that's probably one of the biggest parts of my story, like that has driven me to be who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Having never met him, like the person who's had the biggest influence on my life, I've never once met them or saw them.
Wow.
And so just not having the right guidance and having people to give it to me straight, right? Like I told you before we started the show, I graduated high school. I probably wasn't even 120 pounds. Like, and thinking that I'm supposed to be a D1 athlete. It's just crazy, And so it's not knowing, it's the ignorance of it's not realistic. Not to say that it can't happen, and I could have put the work in to do it, but it's an uphill battle. And so, one of the other things that we talked about before was what happens when your dream doesn't come true.
Correct. Speaking of that, right after high school, what was next?
So I ended up going to a junior college here in Lincoln, or here in Nebraska, and I thought I was going to play ball, and I ended up getting a red shirt just because, like I said, I was 120 pounds. So I had a lot of work that I had to do in the weight room, and I committed to that, but I just wasn't ready. And then after the season, or actually towards the tail end of the season, because I didn't take care of my grades and some other situations, they ended up kicking me off the team. So I ended up coming back to Lincoln.
Now, and I want everybody to take a minute and think about that. You had these high expectations of, being a D1 athlete, but really didn't know what all came with doing or being that, I should say.
Yes.
And then once you got to the junior college level, you realized real quick that this is a different thing altogether.
Yes.
So when you end up coming back to Lincoln, you was at somewhat of a crossroads, if that's what I'm getting from this.
Crossroads is the best way to put it, because it could have went terribly wrong for me. And it actually started heading down that way. So I had worked a couple of jobs. I was stocking groceries. I worked at a Radio Shack. It got fired from both of those jobs. And not only that, it was, because my pride was hurt that I never played college ball. I'm playing at local YMCAs and stuff, getting into fights. So I got a couple of tickets, and that was like the second one was where that crossroads really hit, because I thought I might end up going to do jail time.
Oh wow.
And so, man, I was terrified.
Yeah.
Because I had been told, by people close to me growing up, that because of how bad I was, like in middle school, I got suspended a bunch. I got expelled. High school, I got suspended a bunch. I got expelled. So I had people who were telling me, like, dude, you're going to end up in jail.
Yeah.
And so it was close to happening. I was like, man, I can't let this happen. Like, that was like my biggest thing, is like, I didn't want to let them be right about that, about me. And so I was like, man, you messing up. You right there.
Right,
so,
right.
It's crazy. Like, I had long hair at this time. Like, I had long braids. It was like down to my neck. I was going to court, and I was like, man, I can't let the judge look at me like this.
Yeah.
I ended up cutting all my hair. I was like, dude, I got to do whatever I got to not end up in that place. And so thankfully, I just ended up getting a fine. And I was like, okay, I gotta do something different. And so I decided then that I was going to go back to school. And so, yeah, I went back to school. And so, like I said, I worked at a Radio Shack, and I was doing sales there. In business. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go in there and just do some business classes. And shortly after I started, I found out that my now ex-wife was pregnant with our first son.
Oh, wow.
And that was just like,
Yeah.
just knowing that, man, life just took off. Because before that, every decision that I had made, it never affected anybody else. So if I quit something or if I had an attitude and ended up getting fired, like it didn't affect anybody.
Right.
But now I
right.
knew I had, a child and, a family that I had to support. And so it just took off. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but then I took a entry level office accounting class, and I had an instructor which was super cool. His name was Mr. Johnson, and he was a big sports dude too. So every analogy and everything that when he's trying to like break this down and teach us it all made sense to me because I was a sports dude. Like from the time I was in probably first grade, every morning when I woke up before I went to school, Sports Center top 10. So I'd watch it over and over and over again. I would be able to tell you every single play, every team who won, all the stats and everything. So I'm just a big sports guy. And so I took that class and I was like, man, and I always loved math too. And I used to be, like I talked about in middle school, I was like a bad kid. I never paid attention in class at all. And so like, I remember I used to do this weird thing, and I never really told many people about this, but I'd be sitting in class because I was so bored, just staring at the clock, and I'm looking at the numbers, and like in my head, I'm manipulating these numbers and like just all types of crazy. And I didn't know why I was like at a certain point, I was like, okay, you need to just stop, but I couldn't stop. It was like it was a weird thing, and like I didn't understand it. And then when I took that office accounting class, I was like, this is why. I'm a numbers person.
Gotcha.
And it's like accounting. And I was, bam, I found my path.
You found your path. Well, I want to tell y'all something before we go any further. I happen to agree with him on the numbers because I am not a numbers guy. And how we met, I have a 501c3 that I had not taken care of the bookkeeping part. And so the numbers led to me not knowing what I'm doing and getting a letter from the IRS. And they basically was suspending my 501(c)(3) status because of the lack of having some professional person. Yeah.
Compliance.
And man, I was about to just say, forget it. I don't need the 501c3. And my last ditch effort, I got on Google. I Googled, man, I need a bookkeeper. And your name was the first name that popped up. And I called you and you set a time for us to meet. I took my mess of a 501c3. It was a mess. I'll be the first to admit.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was a mess.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, well, I was suspended, or my 501c3 status was in jeopardy.
Believe me, I've seen way worse.
Oh, okay. Well, to me, it was at the worst it could be because I know who couldn't fix it was me. so I was like, hey man, look, here's what I got. Here's the letter. Here's the paperwork. This is all I got. And I'll never forget that, man. You just looked at it, like it was no big deal. And then you looked up at me and said, man, I can fix this. I'm like, dude, if you can fix this, you got a job. And sure enough, it wasn't 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the IRS and everything was back in perfect standing and has been that way ever since. So I can vouch for you on that. But go ahead on, man. Tell us what the accounting thing took off for you. What was next?
Well, so it wasn't necessarily the accounting thing at that point. I was in school. So I was at STC. And I was getting my associates in business with the accounting focus. But even before that, or on that journey, I had a really bad work history. Like I had never worked at a job. At this point, I'm probably 21, 20. That was 2010. I was 22. I had never worked at a job for more than 3 months.
Oh yeah.
And so I had
resume in bad shape.
Man, terrible. And I had a little job. I was doing work study at SEC in the bookstore, and I didn't like the way that they was treating me. They were treating. I at that point in time, and honestly, this is where I'm locked in. Right, I'm not that irresponsible, disrespectful, terrible work ethic, which had had me end up getting fired from multiple jobs before.
Right.
I'm not that person anymore, and so I didn't want to work there anymore. But at this point in time, I'm trying to build up my resume. I'm trying to get on the right path, and I got a family that I'm going to have to support. So it's like I was terrified, but it's like I can't stay at this place. And so I ended up quitting, and I'm just like, I'm like, I'll find something, right? And it's like I'm looking, and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anybody, to give me an opportunity. And so then it's just like this panic and fear sets in. Like, man, I'm gonna be a deadbeat dad. I'm not gonna be able to take care of my family.
Yeah.
And then luckily enough, I applied for a position as a mentor at the Boys and Girls Club here in Lincoln. And I had an amazing supervisor. Or at that time, I had interviewed with the director there, and he's just an amazing guy. His name is Brent Doctor. And he took a chance on me.
Oh.
He believed in me, and he saw my potential. He hired me. And for me, going into it, I didn't really want to deal with kids like that. Like, I wanted to coach, but like to actually mentor them on a day-to-day and like have them look up to me. Like, I didn't feel like I was deserving of that role.
Right. I got you.
And man, it was probably a month in. I was like, dude, I fell in love with it because I got to be for them everything that I needed growing up.
Gotcha.
And man, and also too, because I'm a youth. It's the position is a youth development professional, so there's training that I have to go through. It's teaching me how to connect with kids, how to be a positive influence on them, and I'm working with middle school kids. So that also translates to helping me eventually become a better father. And so I started that job in June of 2010. And then I had my son in November of 2010.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting professional experience and training on how to, mentor kids and build a relationship with them. And it's helping me to be able to learn how to do something that I wasn't going to be able to naturally do because I didn't have a dad.
Right.
I didn't have a father figure and someone who could, basically teach me how to be a man and how to be an adult and, instill those, characteristics of being respectful, responsible, working hard and being driven. All of those things. I learned that by being a youth development professional, and it's all things that I needed. So I'm learning how to be a better person while trying to teach kids how to be, successful in life too.
Man, that's huge. I mean,
man,
that was very helpful in your life at that point.
Man, I'm forever indebted to Dr. Brent. We still contact each other every now and again. We don't get together as much as we used to, but we still have a relationship. And that dude, he literally changed my entire life just by giving me that opportunity.
See, to me, I think it was, and this is, I'm not a pastor, but I'm a spiritual guy. I believe in God, and I believe that God put that man in your life at that time because you was on that tightrope.
Oh yeah,
you could have went either way
for sure.
And from personal experience, the criminal justice system has the same slogan as Motel 6. They'll leave the light on. They'll leave the light on. I done went to several treatment centers. There was always a waiting list, but never was a waiting list to go to jail. So what I'm saying is, dude, yeah, I can understand why you're thankful and you're in debt to that guy, because if he hadn't done that, who knows where you would have ended up.
Yeah.
And you might have been that father that you didn't want to be.
Exactly.
Now, you went on to pretty much to finish school.
Yep.
And became what?
So I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2015, business administration with accounting focus. And the awesome thing about it is my graduation ceremony was on Mother's Day.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm the first person in my family to graduate with a bachelor's degree. And to give that to my mom was like the ultimate gift.
Wow.
It was just an amazing day. But yeah, so at that point in time, I had the opportunity to either go the accounting route or to take a promotion at the Boys and Girls Club to be the program director. And at that point in time, I felt like that was best for me because I was just so committed to it. So I did that. And, I did that for another 3 years, and it had got to the point where I felt like I wasn't going to be able to truly support my family financially the way I wanted to.
Right.
Because as we all know, being teachers and working with youth, there's just, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah, they're not going to get rich.
Nah, but it's a passion that you have. And so what I decided at that point in time was I was going to switch courses and utilize my educational background for my career and continue working with youth and being a mentor on a volunteer basis.
Gotcha.
And so then I started working my way into the accounting route. And at that point in time, I had 3 years of professional experience, but none in the accounting field. So I had to kind of really start ground level. And, I had to take I don't even know if I took a pay cut because I was getting paid so little there.
Well, hey, hold on right there. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back and get back on this story. Don't y'all go anywhere. It's 93.7 The Ticket. It's to get you happy on hour.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently. Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at LincolnStars.com today before it sells out.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
The Captain with Vershawn Jackson, Terrell Farley, and Jake Bakoven.
I'm looking at a mirror. I'm sitting right next to him.
So I was up at the facility earlier today. I had the opportunity to talk to the 2025 Nebraska Cornhuskers. But, man, those dudes were locked in. They were asking questions. I saw the intentionality. I saw the focus. I saw the hunger. And when I'm leaving the meeting, before any of those guys got up, they all waited for Dylan Raiola to address them. And he addressed them and gave the tentative schedule of like what they're going to be. This is Friday. They're free. They're done for the week. And they're talking about the things that they got to do. And that gave me chills.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
And we're back, man. Bob, what's going on over there, man?
Yeah, we do have a comment from Facebook. It's Odious Lee says, great show, little bro.
Big shout out to my big brother, Odious Lee, man. You always supporting what I'm doing up here, and I appreciate that. And I know you are still recovering, and you might be having another surgery coming up, man. So good luck with that. And please keep your little brother posted, man. You know, I just want y'all to know something. This young man that we got for a guest tonight, he's being real transparent with you, and that's something that in this broken society that I seem to live in, maybe it's just me, but it seems to be a lot of people that are running scams or doing things that ain't quite what I call above board. There's a lot of angles being worked, but I can actually vouch for this young man, and I'm a person that has trust issues. So
we talk about that all the time.
I got trust issues. I ain't gonna lie, but you know what? I really, really have a lot of respect for this young man because he's shown me what he can do and what he stands for. But man, back to you say you was in school and
so I graduated, and then I took the promotion. And then fast forward 3 years later, I'm like, man, I can't support my family the way I want to. I can't achieve my financial goals that I have for myself continuing, working in this industry.
Yeah.
So what I decided was I was going to go the accounting route for my career, but I was going to continue working with youth on a volunteer basis.
Okay.
So I ended up working or sitting on the board of directors here at the Malone Center for a little bit. I eventually had to step down from that, shortly after joining them, I was a general board member, and then I was elected to be board treasurer. But I had to step down eventually because I ended up working for, I took a position working for the accounting firm that does the audits for the Malone Center. And so it was a potential conflict of interest. So I had to step down from that. But then shortly after that, because again, I'm committed to the youth. Youth development is my passion.
Gotcha.
I do numbers, but my passion is working with youth.
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, I'm always going to be doing that. So when I stepped down from that, me and a couple of parents from one of my son's basketball teams, we decided we wanted to start our own new youth sports nonprofit. And so I basically did the entire incorporation for us. I got us, our certificate of organization, got us our 501c3, and, we just kind of took off. And when I did that, and this was in the middle of COVID, so this was June 2020, like in the middle of COVID, we were like, hey, let's do this. We're like, it was crazy. But when I did that, I was like, man, I could do this as a service. I could help people to start their businesses or, their nonprofits or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, yeah. So I started pondering on it a little bit, but then I was like, man, I got this accounting degree too.
Right.
I could just partner it together.
Right.
And then in September of 2020, Thompson's Bookkeeping and Consulting was born.
Man, thank you very much for that. Because that company is, till this very day, is still taking care of my 501c3. So thank you for that. Now, when you started that, man, you kept doing other things too, though, right?
Yeah. So, well, for a little bit. So, I was working at that accounting firm kind of still, and it was a little bit shaky, and they were an amazing accounting firm. And I had made the decision that I wanted to work for them while I was at the Malone Center sitting on the board, because they came and presented their audit. And I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, they were just, the lady who did it, I think her name was Crystal. I can't remember her last name. She just blew me away. And I'm like, that's the company I want to work for.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting there, but when I got there, it was in the middle of COVID. And so it was just a really crazy time. We all know that.
Yeah.
So much uncertainty, but also within my family at that time. So I have 2 young boys, they're 14 and 11. At that point in time, I also had custody of my 13-year-old niece. My mom was living with me with my little sister and another one of my nieces. So we're packed in there in the middle of COVID, and it wasn't a really good time for me. And so I ended up getting fired from that job, but it was it was a different scenario than when I was younger.
Okay.
So then at that point, I would decide to go 100% self-employed. So it was 100% TBC. That's what I call it, Thompson's Bookkeeping and Consulting, as TBC, and also my nonprofit at that time. And so it was just a lot of learning and a lot of work that was going on. There was a lot of late nights just learning as much as I could about, running the nonprofit financially, putting a good product out there, and then also too, starting out, because the nonprofit, of course, it wasn't paid, but being 100% self-employed, I remember starting out, I'm like, man, how am I going to get somebody to pay me $30 to do something that they could do for themselves?
Right.
And it's like, it was tough. And I actually ended up, during that time, I cashed out my whole retirement.
Yeah.
So almost $20,000 of my own money that I put up to start this business, and I made damn near nothing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But that's the risk that you take. And so I learned a lot during that time.
Yeah.
It's a whole different type of grind when you're self-employed. But yeah, I learned a lot. I had to really, really grind, and we kept pushing it forward.
Let me ask you this. For those of you that are out there listening, for people that are listening, how would they go about reaching you?
So my website is tbclnk.com. You can find me, TBCLNK, on Instagram, Facebook. I do want to take this time to announce that I actually am doing a slight rebrand, changing the name a little bit. So we're no longer going to be Thompson's Bookkeeping and Consulting. It's going to be Thompson's Business Consulting.
Gotcha.
One of the things that inspired that is I have quite a few people who think that bookkeeping is, the main thing that I do. And bookkeeping is important. It needs to be done. But the ultimate reason why it's important is to establish a clear way of identifying your profit, your revenue minus your expenses, and then utilizing that to create tax saving strategies. So we've been talking about, I'm an accountant. I don't even go by that phrase anymore.
Gotcha.
I'm a tax strategist. So I help people strategize legal ways to keep their tax bill as low as possible, or even to the point where they get a refund. And if you got a second, I'd like to share a story about a client that I just picked up last year and kind of what I've done for them.
Okay.
So that accounting firm that I told you that I worked for, and this also ties into why I don't like to call myself an accountant anymore. So I had a client that reached out to me last September, I believe it was, and they were working with the CPA, which is like one of the highest classifications of an accountant that you could be. You got to take a test. I chose not to do it. I'm 18 credit hours away from being able to sit for it. But I just didn't feel like it was something I wanted to do, and I don't like taking tests.
I got you.
And so there's a very reputable CPA that works there. He does great business. He had a ton of clients in Lincoln. Great guy. I worked underneath him, not directly, but I've seen this work.
Right.
This client has a business, and they had been working with him for multiple years. And for whatever reason or another, he was just busy and he couldn't get to their return. They had turned all their information into him and just were waiting for him to file it. They had reached out to him multiple times, calls, texts, emails, everything, and he just hadn't gotten back to him. And they were like, just finally like, hey, look, we're just going to go find someone else. So just like you, they Googled, they found me, and they were like, hey, look, this is our situation. We've been dealing with him. He's been good. He's just not responsive to us right now. So we just want to get our taxes filed. So they're like, can you just do it for me? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So I get in there. I'm looking at all of their documents and everything, and I enter them into my system, and it comes out, they're gonna owe a $13,000 tax bill.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean they made a lot of money. This
Okay,
is
gotcha.
It's an electrical company. I wish I could say their name,
No,
but I'm
that's
not. But I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, this is missing. There's some things that's missing. So I asked him, like, hey, has he talked to you guys about this strategy? And they're like, no. I was like, how about this one? They're like, no. I was like, he had to have told y'all about this one. Like, nah. And I was like, let me do what I do.
Yeah.
So I go in and I get to work. All the years of studying and reading articles and watching YouTube videos and networking with other accountants, I put it all into that tax return. By the time I was done with it, guess how much of a refund they got?
How much?
$10,000.
And they was originally going to owe 13?
A $23,000 swing.
Wow. That says it all right there. I mean, you do it. Like I said, you don't got to convince me. All I'm telling you is I don't care what you change your title to, you can't get rid of me. So just know that wherever you go, I'm going. So, sure. But no, man, that's a phenomenal story. And I really appreciate the fact that you even think the way you think, because there's a lot of people out here in this world, man, that don't care about nothing but themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you've seen that as well. So just want y'all to know, man, I try to bring people here that really can make a difference in your life. And that's what you're doing. And I
appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you. And I wanted to give you your flowers publicly. You know, it's one thing to say it to you one-on-one,
sure,
but to get in front of a large audience and say thank you is something that I wanted to do tonight. That was another reason why I wanted you on the show. So thank you for that. We're going to take one more quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to wrap the show up. 93.7 The Ticket to get you happy on hour. We'll be right back.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, We're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Are you looking for a place to relax and unwind after a long week? Grotto Bar and Lounge is the perfect spot to enjoy a full menu and in-house DJs on Friday and Saturday nights. If you're wanting to start your Saturday or Sunday off the right way, stop by for brunch starting at 9 a.m. Don't forget, Grotto offers a full catering service as well for those graduation parties, birthday celebrations, and weekend family get-togethers. Give Grotto Bar and Lounge a call today at 402-261-3019 or visit them in person at 70th and A in the Clock Tower Shopping Center.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
And we back. Man, I done had a ball, and I'll be real honest with you. There's a couple of more things that I want, I guess, to share with you. So before I get to that, we got anybody over there checking out the show, Bob?
Yeah, we got another comment here from Carla Walker. She says, appreciate the work that you do, your encouragement and enthusiasm to help others, Mr. Thompson.
What?
Thank you.
Big shout out. Big shout out to Carla Walker, man.
I know we got to connect again, too.
Yeah. See, Carla, you heard it. Y'all need to connect. And be sure and tell your mom I said hello as well. I hope she's listening. Now, Kadera, tell us what else is going on with you.
Man, right now, really just focusing on my boys.
Okay.
Like I said, they're 14 and 11. They're super active. My 14-year-old's going into high school, so that's a big transition right now. So really just trying to lock in with him. And then my younger son, he's going into to middle school.
Okay.
So JR, Case, Pops loves you guys. I hope y'all listening. And yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I've also taken a new position. I'm the head of finance for a nationwide company that's headquarters here in Lincoln. We have business that we're doing in Minneapolis, Aurora, Colorado, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and this month we'll be opening up a new location in Austin, Texas. So I'm heading that whole finance department.
Man, see that right there? This all started from a guy that was just couldn't stay out of trouble in elementary school.
For sure. Knucklehead. I had that knucklehead syndrome.
Yeah, I mean, he was stuck on stupid or something. He was just running around just like a crash dummy.
That's a fact.
But you know what? You turned it all around, man. And I want people to understand something. I wanted him to share this with y'all because I want y'all to know, even if you're falling short, there's never a reason to give up.
Never.
I mean, I use this statement so much, I call it a Rickyism. And it's my quit button broke. And I look for people whose quit button's broke. And I believe I was successful in finding a guest tonight whose quit button is broke. I think that's important. And when I say my quit button is broke, that means we just ain't going to give up. We don't know how to quit. And I admire people like that because I think that's a great quality to have. So that's another compliment to you, man. I mean, the fact that you, regardless of what life's throwing at you, you still manage to figure out a way to come out of this thing and still be productive. And congratulations on this new position you just took, because that sounds like a big, big job. I don't even want you to try to explain that to me because I ain't going to get it no way. But I know that you got multiple states involved.
Yes, sir.
So that's going to, but like I told you, I'm going to put it out there, man. You can't drop your boy.
Nah, listen. The way TBC is 4.5 years old.
Okay.
And it's not just me.
Gotcha.
I got people who work for me that do an amazing job.
Gotcha.
We're going to continue to take care of our clients, the ones that trust us, and that are allowing us and that depend on us. That's not going to change.
Okay. I got witnesses now. I got it on there. I got it on there.
And so one of the other things I just want to touch on real quick
okay,
is throughout this entire journey that I've been on, I realized what my purpose was in life.
Right.
And just like you have, when you find that purpose, that's when, what I would say is when you find that purpose, that's when your quit button no longer works.
Yeah, it broke.
You're locked in there.
Yeah.
So what I realized my purpose in life is to assist others on their journey of whatever success or happiness looks like for them. So whether that's being a listening ear, being, a mentor and giving kids the reality of what the situation is,
right,
putting things in the proper perspective for them. Someone who's going through a tough time, someone who has goals and aspirations of, generating wealth for themselves, whatever it is, I'm that person. And so that's never going to change.
Well, man, I respect you. I appreciate you. And I'm proud of you because the odds were stacked against you.
For sure.
Is a nice way to put that. You basically, what's the little saying a lot of people like to use? You basically got it out of the mud.
Oh, for sure.
I
was in the trenches.
You went there and you went and got it. And it's like I always say, go get it and come back with it and hurry up. Yeah. I admire that in you, man. And really, really proud of everything you're doing again. And like I said, just love giving people credit, man, because see, to me, when you give people credit when they are still here, I think it carries a lot more weight than after the fact.
For sure.
So I'm just going to encourage you, man, to keep doing what you're doing. And since I got you on record saying you ain't going to drop your boy, I'm good.
We locked in.
Okay, well, listen, I got one last question I got to ask you, man. I know you got a lot going on. I understand that. You explained that. You've been very transparent with us. But I want to know, when Kadara get a little free time, how you get your happy on, man?
Man, I'm a big boxing fan.
What?
Terrence Crawford, Omaha, Nebraska, stand up. I've been at his last 2 fights when he beat down Earl Spence in Vegas and Israel Madrimov up in LA last year. Man, amazing experiences. I love that. Like we talked about, I like to play chess now, so we still got to get our game in.
Yeah. Don't be beating me too bad.
Hey, we still got to get our game in. And then other than that, man, I just love spending time with my boys. I love coaching them and teaching them things and just preparing them for life. Those are the things that I do.
That's
I
what's
try to
up.
stay out the way.
I respect you. Again, I want to thank you for being my guest tonight. I wrap my show the same way every week. Every day you blessed to say it's just another day in paradise. And no matter what, you got to get your happy on.
Appreciate you, Rick.
I'll see y'all next Sunday.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast.